Zachy, it could last anywhere from a few more months. It could be days, months, days, weeks, months. It's probably not years. If I had to guess, somewhere between, I mean, I don't think they'll pump more, but the bleed will take, like, for example, I'd say we're still in bleed phase. This isn't pump phase. Like, if you look at this chart, the pump is over, right? Like, look at this chart. This was the pump. Let's even go back 3 months. It's supposed to be 3 months, but our chart system is a little... Okay, yeah, here's a really good graph. Okay, the pump is over, right? Like, there's no chart that comes back from this. Like, this is just a temporary lull before the collapse. This is IonQ, by the way. Like, how do you get, you know? So if I change this to Rigetti, okay, that should auto size, but whatever. I mean, it's so much worse for Rigetti, like lower lows, lower highs. Nah, I think Rigetti's worse. But yeah, superimposing them would be a good idea. So we are in, like, we hit the peak. So this is a continued, look, I mean, this is, so the question was just the wrong question. How much longer is the pump? Like, we are here. The only question is, are we gonna get this red line, or are we gonna get this blue line, or are we gonna get this green line? But it's all gonna end up in the same place, which is the garbage bin. And, you know, we'd much rather have the red line than the green line, but it doesn't really matter that much. There's no expiry on my short positions. Even look at Shiba Inu. Shiba had a couple of rallies, but you should be able to withstand any rally. If a rally can put you out of business, then you probably aren't sizing or hedging your short correctly. You want to see Rigetti at 50? Let's go. When have you ever seen a chart like that? Up, down 75%, up 5,000%. Hey, it's almost up 40%. The problem is if you go down 40%, then up 40%. You do not claw back. Everybody should know geometric returns. You have to be up like 80% to go back just to the place you were before. I don't know, Ramen. Nobody knows. There's no clue. You keep asking me to predict the future. There's no way to do that. I short pre-peak, which a lot of people contend is a bad idea, which, you know, maybe. Quantum's been around a long time. It's been like cold fusion. Yeah, I think it's an easy short. Come on, Lily, give me a nice rally. Come on now, you're a wizard, Harry. I've got 17 million riding on it. 18 million, technically. I don't know, it depends on how fast they go down. It depends on a lot of things, but I think it'll be good. Sailor is a madman. You worked at 𝗙Quantum? Gonna sue them? You didn't get fired because of me, right? You get a Gucci bag. You get a Chanel. I am short MicroStrategy. Kind of want to cover and short more quantum. Are we sure Elon's buying TikTok? I like to buy TikTok. I think I could do well with it, and I'm not Chinese. At least I don't think I'm Chinese. Yeah, wait, Jay. If I have time, I do, but I don't have time to look at every stock. Unfortunately, I wish I could. I love this game. I'm gonna put all the rocket launches on TikTok and X, and it'll be called XTalk. XTalk will be, what did the kids say? Lit. It'll be very lit. I'll play Diablo and Path of Exile on TikTok. I could do impressions all day, but I gotta do some work here. Okay, so I guess they had a deal with a company called Velo Health. I don't have it on my privates list, so now we get to add it. Imagine having to look at every private drug company and every public drug company. No, Peter Thiel sounds different. They don't sound too far apart. The South African's a little tough to get. Peter is like sharper, and he's a slightly higher pitched. There's 2 million shares of Rigetti on Interactive. Yeah, listen, I mean, this account is meant to YOLO a bit. It's not necessarily meant to be the conservative account. I do think in some ways quantum is a once in a bubble opportunity, and you wanna take advantage. Yeah, Shock Guy, I think you're right. He's not like, his South African is a little different from others. Oh, Thiel's ahs and ums can last forever. Collecting all the longs and taking them out back. You know what happens out back. That's when they say, Daddy, where did Sparky go? Sparky was a family dog. I think he ran away, son. He ran far, far away. Where'd he go? Is he coming back? I think Sparky went to heaven. I don't think we're going to see Sparky again. But we can get you a new dog. Yay! Rest in peace, Sparky. He's in heaven now. The same thing with the goldfish yet. Oh, this is so cringe. It's a flagship company. Listen, you know, we got to get all the baggies in for one last pump. All the baggies in. Angel investing's hard. You need a lot of good deal flow. You need a lot of deals. Can't just get lucky. Marcus Schindler. Novo Nordisk. You got to be willing to go with the ups and downs here. Always got to keep some flexibility in your portfolio too. IonQ was down earlier today. XRP gonna flip Bitcoin. Okay, now we have the carry segment data. So this is very important to Novo, and it sold off a lot when this data came out. Oh, Joe Springer sent me an email. Hello, investing friend. We are back in action making videos, and I just cranked 6 out. They are still private and just for you, so please keep to yourself. Okay, so I think we're going to get some videos from Springer about building a dividend growth portfolio. He's done with biotech. He did say he was the #1 rated analyst on tip ranks. I would not be saying that if I were him. After such a stinker, it's probably cool to just chill here. Just say, man, I'm starting over, all right? Just turn a new leaf, okay? But don't say you were #1. Come on, man. Dividends. Dividends? So you want me to buy a stock, so I own a claim of a company. The company's making money, but the company doesn't know what to do with the money, so they give it back to me. No, that's not Joe Springer, Kyle. That's Matt Nacktrab. Okay, so the redefine one study. This is weird. Okay, there we go. Bizarre. This was the phase 2. I'm assuming that's, okay, so I'm assuming this is redefine 1. Nope. Massive study, redefine 1, 68 weeks. Yeah, VKTX, just, I don't know. People don't trust it or what exactly, but it's nothing I can do about it. Let them pump. Pump it. Pump it up. Oh, that was why do you think it's fraudulent? That's a strong word. There was a Joe Budden song, his sole hit ever, Pump It Up. Correct, Kev, 24K, correct. I can give you moderator if you type in general chat. Just type in general chat with your name. Sure, why not, Connor? I mean, we're a community, right? Just don't fight. We want free users to use it, and we're gonna give it a little bit more functionality where maybe they could have a username, for example. Yeah, we could lose a little money. We want every user to. I mean, it doesn't cost us that much per user, but yeah, you know, we do lose a little money on some of the data feeds. I think particularly options is fairly expensive per user, but I forgot. Yeah, community notes would be fun. Oh, I like that. Actually, you're a baggie. Actually, the user complaining is a baggie. I definitely want to do it so it's like public tracking of your picks. So either connect it to your broker, or you just make a immutable post that's like, I'm shorting this stock, here's why. Even if you just like dial it in, just like short like a paper portfolio, and you could rank amongst everybody who's got the best paper portfolio, and maybe we could even pay you for having the best paper portfolio. I got a whole squad of guys in the office here implementing everything we can. I think the #1 thing is stability testing. If you're going to use Godel to invest and trade, it has to be bulletproof data. There can't be any tickers missing. It's got to handle these weird edge cases of stocks halted intraday, recent IPO that maybe wasn't expected, you know, all kinds of shit that, you know, is just, it's hard to program this stuff. So you gotta make sure you get it all right. Look, paper trading is the second best thing you could do to real capital. So we are gonna let you link your Robinhood or link any other brokerage you have. But, you know, if we have 1 million users all paper trading and there's somebody who's done 8,000 trades and the returns are really good, that kind of tells you that that's a reliable alpha signal potentially. But if they've done 8 trades and they've had great returns, that's probably not a reliable alpha signal. So, you know, look, more data is always better. You know, none of it's all, you know, perfectly reliable, but 𝗔𝗍𝗄 and 𝗂�sigma both have done paper trading as a signal. I think it's less so about how many users we could support as much as it is about how reliable it is. No downtime. Every single object on NASDAQ and New York Stock Exchange, we have flawless real-time representation of their SIP feed. That kind of like reliability, and extend that to crypto, extend that to options, extend that to futures, extend that to commodities, every instrument. We use WebSockets. I don't even know what gRPC is. Heck is gRPC? Interesting. Wow, I had no idea. gRPC run over, are we talking about the back end? How does that run over JavaScript, front end? Let me just do this real quick and see what this is. MEXC is, the Mexico exchange is down. Important bulletin. One of my favorite Bloomberg functions is most, and I'm on my teams to reproduce most as soon as possible. We need most. Most is great. Most tells you the biggest movers for the day in equities, and it's like just such a great function. Ever tell you guys how much I loved you? Don't know anything about Tom Lee. Lily. Long Lily too. Yeah, cap structure is important too. Market close on Monday? I don't follow CPI and all that stuff. I'm not a macro guy. Anthony, there are some good books. There's an old book called The Money Masters, or Money Masters. And then there's the Market Wizards series that's always pretty good. Then you can talk to short sellers. I mean, if you call around enough, you'll talk to some of the OG short sellers who have been through the ringer. They're all crazy. Every short seller is nuts. Being a short seller makes you nuts. I'm not just a short seller though. You know, I'm an entrepreneur. There's plenty of stocks I like. I would say like 5%. You're also playing with SEC Fire. When I say nuts, I just mean like they're very neurotic and like, I mostly trade equities. Don't worry, you'll hear more about longs from me. I've just been on a, because Sava took up so much time. It was like such a dedicated thing. And then Quantum kind of came out of nowhere. It also took a lot of time and effort. But yeah, don't worry, you'll see plenty of longs. Okay, let's look at this obesity data. I haven't looked at Perry in a little while. Doctors shouldn't trade too much, man. You got to worry about your practice and your patients. I think doctors have a hard time having the time to study and watch the market so closely. One thing you could do as a doctor is invest in some hedge funds, especially if you're trying to get like, you want to take some risk, maybe you're a younger doctor, you have some money and you're willing to sort of roll the dice a little bit. You know, try to find a good hedge fund manager that you like, that has had 30 or 40% returns, and go find a hedge fund to invest in. Outsource your, you know, that kind of work. Well, we knew, Jeremy, we knew when the catalyst was for Sava. I don't think it's up 7% has gone parabolic. I think, you know, this mismatch between Rigetti and IonQ, I'm, so let me see, I guess 2/3 IonQ, 1/3 Rigetti. So maybe that's the disconnect. If you're feeling a lot of pain, maybe you're all in Rigetti or something. Yeah, if you've been lucky enough to be in NVIDIA, but you know, like Rigetti, there's no difference between Rigetti and IonQ. Well, they said year end, right? And it was December, so only a couple of days it could have been. I get the same situation. I might want to rotate those calls. Maybe I'll rotate some of these calls into deeper in the money calls or something. And I think it's something everybody has to get a little experience with it. I don't like buying puts unless the vol is cheap. Any Godel custody in New York, you can come vol with us if you want. The problem is quantum developments will be so slow that like there's no catalyst. So people just get bored with the stocks and move on. And eventually the short sellers, so like the baggies all flood in, okay, there's no buyers left. It just falls on its own pressure, if that makes sense. Because the baggies are just like, okay, now what? Oh, there's no action. No action, and the short sellers suppressing the price, keeping it more rational. Baggies get tired. I'm selling about like 1,000 out of the money ภิrgeti calls, and they tripled. So I'm loving it on that trade. I'm losing tons of money on the other stuff, obviously, but I have faith. I have faith the short will pay off. So I'm getting margin release for some reason, even though I'm selling my hedge. I think Interactive thinks I'm like long the stock, short 700K. I think any options books are pretty good. The Market Wizards books are probably pretty good to read. Short sellers suppress the price just by having supply. You know, they're willing to supply shares of stock to the marketplace at prices that without them long sellers may not be willing to supply. I do think it's time to short quantum stocks, but remember with puts, you have to be right on timing and direction. So puts are always a little tricky. Yeah, timing is hard. I just, I don't buy puts typically. I'll buy calls and then short more common. So I have a synthetic put. You do have to pay interest on shorts. So, I mean, I think generally you should have a 1-to-1 ratio of short stock to sold calls. But the delta mix is what matters a little bit. You know, are you in the money, at the money, or out of the money? Long call, short stock, yes. Did I say backwards? Not all my shorts, but my big shorts, yes. Well, then you're long vol if you're long stock and long put. And that's if you're long a stock, that makes sense. You have a synthetic call. But if you're short a stock, you want to be short the common, which has unlimited downside participation, and you're long the call, which only has limited upside participation. I don't know why ภิrgeti's up today specifically. If you look at IonQ, it's only up 8%. So there's nothing specific that happened to any one of these stocks. I think it's just a relief rally after some pretty bloody punishment. Yeah, Steven's got it. Those payoff diagrams help a lot in understanding them. I mean, beta is up to you. You know, if you want high beta, you can have it. If you want low beta, you can have that too. If you want negative beta, you can have that. I think a lot of that stuff is best learned by yourself, chickens, guys, just experimenting a little bit. No alpha, no edge there, Jeremy, but it's obviously fun to some extent. It's still a gamble, you know. And ภิrgeti got very punished on the downside. Again, you can see here from this chart, I mean, this stock is still down a lot from its peak. This was the pump and is down a ton. And it had this, you know, here it was down a ton, had a relief rally. So, you know, it could go to 10 or 11. I mean, we don't know. You know, I doubt it. I think it'll go back down pretty quickly. But, you know, the stock market is not predictable. In the long run, I think you can make some predictions, but this relief rally, certainly a little surprising. I don't think that's a bad idea, Korean. I do look at it a little bit. Yeah, Black-Scholes works. If you went a little over-leveraged here, you should, again, try my approach of being long calls. Market is definitely irrational, day-to-day, tick-to-tick, because anything could happen. I'd say you should be able to live through your shorts going up 50% or even doubling. Black-Scholes is fine. I buy a lot. I buy them all over the place. I don't just buy. I buy 100 delta, 80 delta, 50 delta, 20 delta, and whatever the brokerage lets me buy that reduces. I don't know about insurance, man. So the way to get modded is in general chat. You type my YouTube username is X. Then on YouTube, you type like hi or something just so I see it. Buy some VKTX just because it's getting too cheap, man. Like, it doesn't make sense. If you got a GLP-1 and it works, I don't think you have to be the best GLP-1 either, honestly. Not IBRX, VKTX. Biotech investor, did you say you had a list of binary events for us to look at? I think you did. Maybe I'm thinking of somebody else. There's a long reason, Mr. Arabic name. I've been adding. It's been going up a lot. You can't make your whole portfolio one stock.
𝗘𝗺𝗘𝗊
You do that, you're asking for it. You gotta live by the sword and die by the sword. You want the smoke? You gotta have it both ways. Yeah, somebody had the list of binaries. It was in requests in here. And we gotta do SLS. That's the main binary we need to fuck around with. I wish I could search chat. Don't worry, my programmers are working on it. My cats have been mean to each other. So one of my family members is saying no more bacon. She doesn't deserve bacon for nibbles. And I wanted to tell my family member that actually Dad would have advocated heavily for nibbles. He was a cat advocate. So funny, child of our Heavenly Father, that yesterday that made sense, and today it doesn't look like it can even work. No, D-Wave machines cannot factor anything. I'm looking at this right now, Novo Nordisk. It's good to look at the large caps, because if you don't know the large caps, you really don't know the industry. 3,400 people in this study, amazing. Not really open film. That just doesn't do it for me. I get enough alpha without it, you know? No, I don't buy calls first. I usually short the stock first. They've always acted a little differently. Rigetti got hammered way more than IonQ, so I think you guys are making too much of this one-day move, to be honest. Oh yeah, where you have to make an endocrinology. And we're gonna make a diabetes and obesity section. What are some other endocrinological disorders? Osteoporosis. What else, guys? Give me an endocrine disorder. How about acromegaly? How about short stature or growth hormone deficiency? There's Cushing's. IBS is, I wouldn't say is endocrinology, more GI. Menopause, I'd say is like women's health. Crohn's is GI, autoimmune. Hyperthyroidism, correct. Congenital insulinemia, Graves. I believe Graves and autoimmune. That's it? That's all you guys got? Come on. Graves is pretty boring as it is. There's a polycystic ovary syndrome? Something like that. Hashimoto's thyroiditis. I'd say it's autoimmune. Addison's. Very boring one. We got PCOS. Usually MPAP, that is a good idea. CKD is nephrology. Okay, well, whatever. We'll just do that. I forgot, Beverly's a customer of mine. I gotta treat her with as much respect as possible. University of Maryland is kind of spun out IonQ, so where's this $1 billion coming from? Artist rendering. So Mounjaro is almost twice as strong as semaglutide. But Cagri looks like it could be the best. Then I got to look at the Amgen drug. The problem is, even with Jensen and Zuck saying it's never going to happen, the baggies are like, all right, that was last week. What about now? That was last week. I'm sure their opinions have changed. We won't have to hear about them for weeks to come. We're in the clear. Finally pay my girlfriend back. I told you, baby. You know I got you. Here's the 500 back. Yeah, I made some quantum investments. That's your boy. How you doing today, Baggy? Pretty good. Oh yeah, why so good? I bought more goodie. Oh really? Didn't you lose most of your portfolio on that? Yeah. So why'd you buy more? I don't know. Me and the buddies, we're going down to IonQ's office and renting one of them quinums. It depends. I mean, there have been CEOs that passed away and their stocks went up because people didn't like the management team. Musk is obviously the opposite. Who's that calling? Margin? Mr. Margin? Tell him I'll call him back. Value or real estate or dividend stocks? Well, Eli Lilly pays a dividend. I don't know if it's firms. I mean, I just think it's, you could be a little bit of gamma squeezing. But it makes sense. If somebody wants to buy tons of call options, the dealer has to go out and buy the stock to stay hedged. The guys who buy calls, they might have more capital. Let's not be like the baggies, right? The baggies sit there blame Jane Street, blame Citadel. Our job is to look at the fundamentals, and that's it.